Hi, I'm Mr. Miyagi and this is Mr. Miyagi's Workshop. Well, we're continuing on with that project, the 1975 CB360, and today we've got the frame in the shop. Now the customer dropped off a pile of goods. Well, the customer dropped off what parts he had, and definitely this is a basket case. What we need to do now is to figure out how we want to hardtail this frame out. So I've got it mocked up here to get an idea of what it looked like at stock. So anyway, let's get to it. Now these are stock measurements from Japan, and this is something I found online. And it's all in millimeters, so I have to do some conversion. But I've got it basically the frame set up the way it is there. I've got the measurements laid out from axle to axle, and it's roughly 53 inches. But we're going to have to extend this out if we're going to hardtail it. You usually have to put a 4-inch stretch in this area back here to make it work. And we may also have to cut this and stretch this up a little bit to change the trail on it. Now, on these front ends and everything, they're at about 62 degrees or 28 degrees of tilt if you've got a different gauge than I have. But 62, and this is what I found, is what the rake angle is on these. The trail on them, I would suspect, is probably about 3 inches or so, 3.5. Don't know yet. We're going to end up, that'll probably end up getting changed because we're going to end up keeping the stock forks. So that may tend to kick the wheel out, so we may have to adjust with the frame. And I've looked at different frames online that guys have done, and I would love to get rid of all of this garbage here and come down with a single post, what they call a seat post. Just come down in this area. And we would have to remake the rear motor mount section on the top side, and then the lower one, of course, too. The upper up here will have to be changed out a little bit too. Now what I did do is I ordered a kit from TC Brothers. That's a universal hardtail kit. It comes with pre-bent tubes. This is 1.1 inch, axle plates, cross pieces, and slip-ins if you need them. Now, normally I do my own. I have a big bender back in here that I can do all the bending. I can bend up to 2-inch diameter tubing with that. But since a lot of you guys don't have benders, I just thought I'd do the kit and show you how to use TC Brothers or whoever you get this kit from, or your pre-bent tubing, and build with that. Now I've got a frame jig here that I built years ago that I've built a ton of different frames on. And this holds the neck piece. I have another tapered one. It comes down in there that captures the neck. This is a slide center that I can position it somewhere on this framework here. And then we have a tailstock piece back there. I've used for bigger bikes, and this is for the smaller bikes. For the center, it sits right in about right here. Got the frame set up in my frame jig, and I've got different I've got different axle plates on. These are the ones that came with TC Brothers. These are 18 degrees off of center, and these are about 25. They fit the angle a lot better for where I want to go and where I want to come up into here. So I've decided to use those. These are ones I've had kicking around. These will go back on the shelf. This would work out a little better if I was stretching out the bike a lot further back, but we're only doing basically from the center of the pivot arm to out here. We stretched it at about 4 inches. And that usually is about pretty good for anybody, especially if you're doing a bobber. You don't want to go too far past your point. This is going to lengthen the chain out, and there's a few little odds and ends you want to keep in mind there. But this helps to bring that down in there, so you can put a seat and fit a fender in here nicely. So, like I said, it's about a 4-inch, maybe 4.5-inch slide back from that. This table was set up for doing, it moves back, it's set up for doing Harley Davidson's frames basically, or XS 650s. I've set them all kind of up on that, and I'll walk you over and show you one of the frames that I built. Now this is a full-fledged frame, that bed. This is one of my gooseneck frames that I built. And I'll probably having a build session coming up here one of these days. But I set it up, stretched it up. It runs a 3/over tube front end on it. And they work out pretty good. I ended up using the style axle plates that we have on the little CB 360. But this is the kind of stuff I've built. Now, as goes for the Harley frame, there's one right there that I did, and I used 35 to 56 axle plates, and used some different things, just kind of give it that old school look. Now, I know a lot of you don't have a frame jig, and when I first started out building frames, I had a wooden table and lots of blocks and lots of different things to hold everything in place and line up. But you want to pay attention to how straight, how level this is across here, how straight you are. You know, like what I've got right here is I have a laser beam. I have a Ryobi, just a cheap one. It's not very expensive, but I've set it up, and I don't know if you can make that out, but it sends a line right straight down the backbone and everything. It's got my marks here on my tower for everything to go. This is going to be the tough thing for you guys to build. I just used all thread on this, and you don't have to make it out of steel. You can make it out of a 4x4, set it up, and you just basically want to take your frame and come right straight and up to here. Now, we have a problem with this bike, being the Honda. This one side is about 3/4 of an inch or so higher than the opposite side. So the left-hand side is taller, I'm not sure, I think maybe because of the kickstand area. I don't know what Honda was thinking, why they did it, but most frames are both straight and come back. But on these 360s, and I suppose the 350 and all that, the same thing. So what I'll probably do here is, you can see I've already got a kind of like a mark here. I want to cut that off right through there, and I'll shear this off. Now I could get rid of this center thing and go with a single unit down, but then I'd have to remake my rear motor mounts. And I've thought about that. It's just cutting it off right here and here and right there, and then just take this away, take this whole centerpiece away, and I'd still have the lower mount. And then when I built the backbone piece that come down in here, I'd put it on a cross member, you know, part of the unit coming back, and then I'd somehow come off of that for a rear motor mount. It's all up in the air still here. I've still got a lot of other things I've got to set up first. I've got to figure out what I'm going to use for my rear brake area, since none of the stuff that came with the kit had, or should I say, none of the stuff that the owner dropped off had the brake stuff in there. I have a few of them laying around here. I've got one off of an old 750, 1980 750 Honda. I've got another one here off of a Yamaha, which does fit the hole, but if I take this away, that's going to go away. So I'll have to rearrange the braking somehow so that it works. A lot of ifs and ands and buts. Or I may just trim right off here and just leave this intact and not worry about it. It's all up in the air. But I'm getting ready to go on a 4-wheel drive up in the hills to play in the mud. And then I'll think about this when I get back. So this is where we're at right now at the stage. It's all set up, lined up and everything. And I just have to decide what I'm going to cut off and how I'm going to add everything into place here. So I'm going to kind of cut this little video a little short. I need to think about this. That's another thing too, is when you're building a frame and all that, don't get in a hurry. Take your time. That's what you need to do. You need to think about exactly how you want to lay it out, and that's what I'm going to do. Besides, I think maybe going up in the hills in the 4-wheel drive, our old Delica 4-wheel drive van, will be a lot more fun. And well, it'll be muddy, but it'll be fun. So anyway, as always, if there's any comments or questions, put it in the comment section below. Or you can send it to my email address at teammiyagi@hotmail.com. And if you've liked this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget that ringy-dingy button over there for the next episode coming up. So this is Mr. Miyagi saying, be safe out there, and hope to see you on the road. Ciao.